Of course, police are notorious for lying. Shout out to this big nose motherfucker from London. Last week's Tonight, John Oliver did a great episode on interrogations. Like, police aren't good people. NANI? Dynamite! What's up, everybody? This is a show. I am a host, and this is the Identity Group. Today we're going to talk about the things we forgot to tell you last week. This is a series of events that we talk about. Things I forgot to tell you last week. If there's something you think I forgot to tell you, feel free to let me know. This should be relatively quick. There wasn't a lot going on. So first things first. I just want y'all's honest opinion of this. Go. That's so cringy. Right? That's cringy, right? Because, and it's cringy no matter what. It's cringy if it was a bunch of Muslims on the plane doing it. It was cringy if a bunch of Jewish people were doing it. Hindu, whatever, whoever sky god you pray to. It's weird, all right? But I did some research on this. I'm okay with this from the standpoint that this is a private flight, right? They chartered this flight. This is a missionary group, and there's some, you could tell it's like a charter flight because, one, I've never seen the details of that on a wing on a flight before, but also, like, you could tell some people are wearing masks, some people aren't, some people are bothered, are unresponsive to it, some people aren't, but like, this was a chartered flight. I could not see this going down on Southwest or Delta or anything like that. Ilhan Omar caught some flack because she said, what if this was a Muslim family or something like that? And it's a valid question, but she was talking without context. This is cringy, period, but what you do with your private money is the thing that's more concerning me is what religion makes it okay for all of these people to be on a plane like this, to charter a flight? Like, where y'all going? Can't this money all this money can't be donated to something better? Just me asking questions. Black Virginia high school teacher sues 10th grade student who left banana in classroom door for months. Yo. That's not funny. But I'm laughing. Yo, for a month, this white boy was leaving shit at his door. Yo, further, where's he getting a banana for months? For months? Where's he getting a banana? Like, the mom ain't realized, like, yo, Timmy out here eating hella potassium. We gotta do something about this. Like, too much of anything is a bad thing. You drink 5 gallons of water, you'll have a seizure. You eat too much banana, potassium, your fucking kidney stones will be knocking on your door. The mom, the dad didn't realize, like, yo, we going through bananas mad crazy in this budget. Black high school teacher in Virginia is suing 10th grade student for racism after the minor was caught leaving banana in doorway of his classroom for months. I remember reading this story, and this was going to be resolved peacefully. Like, he was going to, tell the parents, this, that. And it was the moment that the thing that the parents didn't like was when the kid got suspended or was reprimanded. The parents thought that the kid apologizing should have been enough. But the moment the kid was going to be reprimanded, that's when the parents escalated it. And that's when this teacher escalated and said, no, I'm going to sue y'all and get this right. Because this is also my cry out to everyone who's saying that, oh, racism and you don't need to teach kids about racism. Because if they don't learn about it in school, trust me, the version of racism they're learning about from their parents comes from their parents, who were lynching black people. I have to say lynching black people. They were lynching black babies. Gator games, go look it up. That's where they used to use black babies in Louisiana as bait to get gators so they could eat the gators. That's crazy, ain't it? It was something they did every Sunday. You didn't pick enough cotton or whatever, your ass was going to be used as bait. It's crazy. But no, sue his ass. Fuck him. I thought that story's next. I don't know what this is, so I'll skip it for now. A cop pulled a gun on a father at a Miami school. Prosecutors say the arrest was wrong. No shit. Regardless of whatever the situation is, you pull a gun out at a school and ain't shit popping. That's crazy. Let's see what happened. 2 months ago, an argument between two parents at a North Miami-Dade elementary school resulted in a county police officer pulling a gun on one of the fathers. Could you imagine having a dispute? Like what? There's often this conversation about men don't get to be men anymore. Here we had two people having an argument, and the police stopping that two adults from having a conversation. If I'm arguing with somebody, that doesn't necessarily mean there's a reason to be. Everyone needs to be in danger. I love arguing with people. It's a fucking pastime. And to imagine, but you can't be black and doing anything masculine because you'll be considered a predator. Prosecutors have now dropped the case against the father, Lorenzo Gonzalez, saying he broke no law and pointing out that video of the episode didn't match what the police wrote in the arrest report. Of course, police are notorious for lying. Shout out to this big nose motherfucker from London. Last week's Tonight, John Oliver did a great episode on interrogations. Like, police aren't good people. They never have been. They never will be. I don't trust cops from the bottom of my heart. Like, there's nothing about them to trust. I'm happy to see they trust charges. The incident happened. But is the officer going to be charged? Miami-Dade interim police chief George Perez referred the case to the state attorney's office, which reviewed the case under his justice project. Perez, in his March 3rd letter, expressed concern that the review of the police body-worn camera indicts disciplinaries. What the fuck? I can't read. What does that say?
Indicates discrepancies.
What I say? Indicates discrepancies with the reports written. Okay. South Florida prosecutors, as a police tactic nationally, have come under scrutiny in the recent years and have taken hard line on busting officers who lie on reports. Although convictions for official misconduct remains rare, last week Miami jury convicted a county police officer, for tackling a woman, then lying on the report, who has been freed from jail for several weeks, is on a felon probation. Damn, get fucked. Hey, I'm happy to see it. Fuck those guys. Republican state senator uses Hitler as a inspiration in message to homeless. Okay, first and foremost, this looks like it was filmed back in Hitler's days, right? All white men thinking they're all super superior and shit. Senator Frank S. Nicely, Republican, Strawberry Plains District 8, 4/13/2022. So it's the new. They just haven't updated their camera system. Let's hear what this idiot has to say.
Lamar, further discussion. Senator Nicely.
Oh, God. I don't think I can handle it, y'all. Like, especially if I know it's going to be ignorant. I don't know if I can handle it, y'all.
Lamar, further discussion. Center nicely.
Okay, that's as far as it's gonna let me get. Let's see if we can find the quote. I haven't given you all a history lesson in a while, and I wanted to give you a little history on homelessness. Nicely said. Hitler decided to live on the streets for a while. So for 2 years, Hitler lived on the streets. Oh shit! I was playing just super slow. We don't have time for this. Anyone let me pause it? Alright, then I'll just mute you. I have the power. Hitler lived on the streets and practiced how to connect with the masses, then went on to lead a life that got him in the history books. Nicely made a comment while other state leaders were debating a bill that would classify camping on public property a misdemeanor in Tennessee. Of course, they can't help themselves. These guys are animals. Instead of debating on a way to, try and help the poor, help the less advantaged, they're circled up here trying to figure out how to punish the poor. And on top of that, they're going to then try and compare and ridicule the poor to Hitler. Just so you guys know, this maniac voted for the bill that would make it a misdemeanor. It did end up passing. We're fucked. This is from Grand Rapids, Michigan. This was about the African-American man, Patrick, who was shot in the back of the head by an officer. This is raising a lot of questions. And it's raising a lot of questions because the chief of police refuses to release the officer's name unless the officer's indicted. And it goes back to this question. Who are you there to protect? Us or the officers? And they make it clear so much. There's so many things we could talk about in this story about, like how when the officer this rookie officer pulled over this vehicle that was already parked, he pulled it over for running his tags and realizing the tags didn't match the vehicle, but didn't have a reason to initiate the tag screening. So basically, he just randomly going around scanning people's tags, which is weird. 2, there was a clear language barrier in this video where his African accent was not coming across very clear to this officer. This officer didn't give proper instructions. He didn't give clear and decisive instructions. Twice, after trying to take on Patrick by himself, he failed. And instead of him to call for backup, he continued to pursue. And it wasn't until he got him on the ground that he finally decided to shoot him in the back of the head point blank. It was an execution. And something has to be done about it. Like, point blank, period. We're in 2022. We're still talking about shit like this. Like, after George Floyd, like, y'all ain't learned your lesson. Just leave us the fuck alone. We don't even be doing shit. Immigrant people, especially African people, we don't fuck around here because we just want to get your money and leave. So why the bother? DeSantis moves against Disney with push to eliminate special status for Florida theme park. I don't know what this is about, but I hate Disney and I hate this guy, so to see them both fighting is sort of like okay with me. But basically, he's still upset about the Don't Say Gay bill. Disney came out and didn't support it, obviously. And now he wants to retaliate. So, like, I feel like, isn't that grounds for them to, like, get sued? Like, he's putting the state at risk of being sued because, like, if you can, that amusement park is entitled to having their opinion since businesses are people now. So they're allowed to air their grievances about this, but this should be interesting because I hope they release what type of stuff they're allowing Disney to get away with. Like, what type of tax breaks does Disney get? And how much of our taxpayer dollars are going to paying the fucking mouse in Florida? So good riddance to them both. Florida as a whole just needs to break off from the United States and sink. No one will miss it. I won't. Alex Jones, InfoWar, files for bankruptcy in wake of defamation suit over his assertion that Sandy Hook massacre was a hoax. Can we get this to play? I doubt it.
When it comes to credit cards,
It's a commercial.
you got options.
Great.
A non-stop.
Great. Far-right website Infowar and 2 other companies owned by radio host Alex Jones have filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Anybody else watch that show, Hunter x Hunter? That's the dude who, I think his name was Shoot. You guys know who I'm talking about from the Aunt Chimera arc. He has the Takamura hairstyle. That's his nan ability. Chapter 7 bankruptcy. And then who else does that? Blood Black Brigade. They also do something very similar to that. Chapter 11 bankruptcy procedures put a hold on pending civil litigation while letting business keep running as it prepares turnaround plan. So so what they're asserting is that he's doing this out of necessity, and he doesn't really have to because he doesn't have he's not at risk of being in bankruptcy, but he's just trying to freeze his assets so he can put shit away. So when he's then filing for it, he can undervalue himself, and then he'll get to pay less. It's a scumbag move. I hope Alex Jones is just grind his muggy face into the ground. USA man wins $450,000 lawsuit after unwanted office birthday party. This story is actually wild, and it speaks to why no one wants to go back to work. If there's ever a question about why we have to go back to work or why no one wants to go back to work, let this be a cautionary tale. There's this guy, right? His birthday's coming up. He knows his birthday's coming up, and he's being forced to come back to the office. So he tells these people at the office, hey, look, I don't want a birthday party surprise. Please I can't do it. Please. They ask why. He says, I have bad anxiety. And when people gather around in tight spaces, it makes me nervous. I can't handle it. Please don't do it. The whatever he works at, they acknowledge this shit. They move on. His birthday rolls around. They call everybody into his fucking office cubicle and they start singing to him. And he has a panic attack. He runs and goes to his car. He calms himself down with his controlled breathing. He comes back to work, everything, and finish out the day. Next day, they call him into the office and they explain, on your day, to feel special, you made me feel uncomfortable. And for that, we're sending you home. And after doing that to him 3 times, they finally fired him because they said he was a liability. And he sued them for discrimination against disability because that is one. People are so fucking disgusting. Florida rejects 54. Rob DeSantis made it to the fucking booth twice in one show. Florida rejects 54 math books claiming critical race theory appears in some. This can't. I hope they got a picture of this. They do. They do. Rob DeSantis is trash, right? Could you imagine banning a math book because of CRT? It's crazy. Let's see. It says 20% are included. Best standard incorporated provision grades K through 12. That's crazy. He's a madman. There's no stopping him. Honestly, Florida is just doomed. Okay, so there's this thing going on right now that I feel I have to talk about because of the algorithm. But I don't really understand the story in its entirety. But basically, in a nutshell, there's this Twitter account, and it's called Libs of TikTok or some shit like that. Like, it's called Libs of TikTok. And Yeah, libs of TikTok. Let's just look at this shit. And they're known for being they're basically a right wing leaning Twitter account, and they basically post memes and shit like that. But they're most notoriously known for outing trans people or getting people, teachers or whoever, like in these weird states where like if you out yourself as gay to kids, you'll be fired or you can be charged. They do shit like that. They basically harass the trans, gay, LGBTQ community. That's all they do. But up to recently, they've started basically making policy for the right wing agenda mill. So a lot of the right wing, like the Nebraska lawmaker who was trying to make furries illegal because he saw a story about a kid wanting to shit in a box because of furries. That was a false story, but it was generated by this profile. So it's just a bunch of boomer ass, Republican ass dudes using this platform to justify treating gay people and transgender and young people bad, period. But basically, the person who runs this profile is supposedly a woman, and she's been making money off of this. She's been making money off of ruining people's lives. And a bunch of news journalists and people came together to figure out who she was and investigate her. And now everyone's like, oh, you doxed her. But it's just like, it's the hypocrisy of the right. I think if you have 7,580 followers and you're doxing people, you're ruining their lives, you deserve to be exposed. So I'm okay with it, with this person being exposed as long as they're not being harassed. But it's just weird to me that this is a thing that people are doing. Like, you find teachers or you find like gay kids, and like there's these conspiracy theories like schools are like it's just another attack for public schooling or making school choice, because they want to take money away from public schools so that underserved kids, which are usually black kids, don't get an education. Like, all of this stems from racism. Like, they might be talking about LGBTQ issues right now, but it's all in an effort to bring about the end of a demographic in this country. White House may appeal ruling against mask mandate on planes. This is strange. So you don't have to wear a mask anymore as of yesterday on a plane. And for the record, I wore a mask yesterday when I was in Target. I'll be wearing a mask to the end of my days. I love the effect this had on me, because when you're sitting in a plane breathing in all that stunk air, that mask just really puts that barrier up between you and the next person. And also, the mask does a great thing that I couldn't do when my face is showing, is get people to leave me the fuck alone. Because when that mask is on, people just know you're not going to talk to somebody that has a mask on. And people love, I don't know why people love doing this when they travel. And it's usually lonely people. Lonely people who travel can't help themselves. That's when people started bringing their pets and shit. And the other day, somebody brought their punk-ass dog on the plane and tried to sit next to me. I was like, no, you can't sit next to me. And they were like, it's a Southwest flight. We can see what they want. I like, lady, you can't sit next to me with that dog. I got allergies. And she was like, oh, okay, well, I don't know. Hey, you know what? It sounds personal, because if I bring out my hood me, you and that dog getting punted off that seat. And when people like try and have a debate with you about shit, like, your feelings do not lapse my comfort, my physical comfort. Your feelings, I will punch you and your dog out that goddamn seat. The people just put their pets on this pedestal, and it bothers me. It bothers me beyond reproach. I met this girl. She was like, yeah, this guy broke up with me because I told him that I would always pick my dog over him. What the fuck did you just say? Yeah, I would always pick my dog over him. Your dog over your boyfriend? How long y'all been dating? 6 months. She said it with pride. We dated for 6 months. And you let him go? So why not just say that you had another issue with him? Why'd you bring the dog in this shit? Oh, man, I hate fucking people, dog owners. It's not even the people I hate. It's just the way they treat the dog. It's like they give it special privilege. But anyway, you don't have to wear a mask anymore. America's back, baby. But I'll be wearing a mask. And if you're smart, you'll be wearing a mask too. Philadelphia was trying to bring mask mandate back in the arena because it's just kind of crazy how this pandemic happened and motherfuckers are just okay with the results. Like, okay, 1 million people died. We learned our lesson. Psych. Weaker versions of this are still happening. How many shots do I have right now? Hold on. I got my damn card. I don't even gotta ask. I've gotten 3 doses. The last time I got hit up was November 17th of last year. This is gonna be a 1-year thing for me, a once a year type thing for me, but damn, y'all. Please just protect yourself. Put on the mask. Too many people just it's not over. There's something else coming. You just feel it. Just protect yourself. But me, I will continue to wear my mask in public or mass gatherings I do not feel comfortable in. Someone has a question for Ted Cruz.
My name is Evan. Assuming that would end global hunger, would you fillet another man?
Dare I ask him to repeat? Well, actually, so I do have an answer.
Oh man, of course, they're definitely there's definitely no smart response or anything like that Ted Cruz will have to defend this. That's super weird. Good on that kid for getting those questions. I love seeing like this new generation just constantly dunking on like there was a clip of this happening to Ben Shapiro. Now it's happening to Ted Cruz. These people are animals. Fuck them. But hey, we made it. That's it. That's it. You know, that was just a little close league. I don't know if that video's gonna play. If it does, hold on. Let me see. No, I didn't pose that.
To this? All right, I actually think it is better that the alien answer this.
Wait a minute. Hold on.
Well, actually, so I do have an answer to this. All right, I actually think it is better that the alien answer this.
Did he just suggest a woman answer the question about whether or not to give head or not to save human? Ted Cruz is such a fucking weirdo, man. Remember, this is the same Ted Cruz that let his wife be insulted by Donald Trump, then was caught on camera, 4K, raising money for Donald Trump. He a bitch. And you can say to his face, and you know he ain't gonna do shit about it, because he a bitch. He's bitch made. Like, he's the most bitch thing you can find in Texas. And there's a bunch of bitches in Texas. That's crazy. Clap it up for all the bitches. All the bitch made motherfuckers like Ted Cruz. But no, we done. This is the things I forgot to tell you last week. If there's something I forgot to tell you last week, hit me up, let me know. Sorry for all the yawning. I can't help it. It's because I'm fasting. And I'll be done here shortly.